So 2024 from a numerological perspective is 8, and in the Rider-Waite-Smith system, 8 equals strength. Now, I love looking at strength. If you've seen any of the stuff I've done earlier, you know that I'm always paying attention to the animals index as well as a relationship that humans are having with animals in their deck. And I can show you very clearly how the strength card, as is depicted over hundreds of years, shows us so much about humanity's relationship to nature. And I'm so excited. Check this out. The earliest depictions of the strength card come from the Visconti. That was in the 1400s, and that was produced. Unfortunately, I do not have a copy of that on me, but these two are great stand-ins. Here we have the Mythic Tarot. I believe this came out in the 80s, and we also have the 1JJ Tarot deck, and this came out of the 60s. So both of these are depicting a story from Hercules. And in this story, he had to do something called the famous 12 labors. And to keep this really short, this particular labor was the conquest of the Nemean lion, an enormous beast with a pelt that was proof against iron, bronze, and stone. And the lion had depopulated the neighborhood, and so eventually he found the beast, he slaughtered it, took its pelt onwards and upwards. But basically, at the most fundamental level, we see strength as man conquering very dangerous, cruel, and mean animals who mean to do us harm. And of course, that is a medieval take of nature and animals in Western Europe. Now here we see the Marseille, both the CBD Marseille, which is a reproduction of the Conover, which I believe came out of the maybe 1700s. We have the Marseille of cats, which I think is really cute. And then we have a modern reproduction based off of Rider-Waite-Smith. And all three of them show women, and sometimes it looks like the mouth is being pried open, and sometimes the mouth looks like it's being slammed shut. But here we see no longer is there a man clubbing a lion who's a danger to the neighborhood. What we see is a woman through, and maybe particularly because she's a woman, she doesn't have brute strength. She has another kind of strength, a human-based strength. And in that, she shows a more gentle dominance of the lion, which depicts a very paternalistic and domesticating kind of relationship that humanity is having with nature. These two decks here are pretty modern. They were produced within the last couple years. We have the Modern Witch Tarot and the Astrology Tarot. But here we see not only is there a lack of any kind of dominance going on between the woman and the lion, what we see is more of a pet-like or affection, a family. They're both working with one another and for one another. And then here we actually see a role reversal where the lion is now acting as a source of support and emotional regulation for the woman. And that, I just keep thinking about emotional support animals and the way people often see their pets these days as being emotionally regulating and helpful to them. Finally, we see the Fountain Tarot and Light Seers Tarot, and we see something really interesting going on. No longer is the lion our emotional support animal, perhaps, or even just like our best friend and pet with a more egalitarian kind of relationship. What we see here is something a little more spiritual. I love that there's a lion as shaman figure with the woman, and that the lion is the gateway to greater spiritual truth. There's a sense of almost we went so far away from cutting our relationships with the natural world to coming back to a more shamanic and indigenous view, which we held for millennia upon millennia, before we started this whole technology thing. And also with the Lightseers, you see a complete integration. If you look in her face, she is half lion and half woman, and there's a lamb on her lap. To me, this is really depicting this idea that there truly is no separation between the human and the lion, the human and the animal. And I feel like this very much represents the way the modern take on seeing the natural world in the West has kind of become one that's far more respectful and kind and understanding. More people are vegan than ever before. People want to shut down, exploitative places that animals are in, and people are tremendously interested in saving habitat for our cousins on this planet. So yeah, if you want to take all the decks you have and just look at the strength card and look how they've changed over time, you get this beautiful map about Western cultures varying relationship to animals and nature over time. Out of all of them, it's hard for me to probably pick my favorite. I mean, I do love this one very, very much. I also really like this one. I sure as heck don't like beating the lion with a club. That is my least favorite. But it's interesting to see where we've come and get a hint in terms of where we're going. So that is strength. 2024 is strength year, and I hope that you and your animal nature are fully integrated for your spiritual growth.